funniest celebrity impressions done in front of the actual person. Consider this. You're seated in a crowded room. The cameras are rolling. Everyone is observing. Suddenly, someone begins to imitate you. Not merely informally, but flawlessly. Your voice, your routines, including your strange little facial expressions that you thought no one saw. This is the worst part. You are unable to leave. They are unstoppable. And everyone is eager to see the way you respond. Are you laughing? Are you acting fake? Or do you just sit there in silence, wondering how they know you so well? We're going to explore the funniest and occasionally most awkward celebrity impersonation made in front of the real person today. And believe me, some of these are really precise. It's nearly uncomfortable to see them. Let's begin with a moment that dominated the entire space. Jim Carrey becomes Matthew McConaughey right next to him. There are impressions, and then there's what Jim Carrey does. Because when Jim imitates someone, he doesn't just copy them, he becomes them. Now picture this moment. Jim is sitting next to Matthew McConaughey, a man known for his smooth voice, calm energy, and that signature laid-back attitude. Everything is normal. Until Jim suddenly leans forward. He slows his speech, narrows his eyes, and starts talking in that unmistakable southern rhythm. All right, all right, all right. The room instantly freezes. Because it's not just similar, it's too accurate. People start looking at Matthew, waiting, analysing his reaction. And for a brief second, Matthew just watches. No smile, no reaction. And that silence, that's where the tension hits. Did Jim go too far? But then, Matthew breaks into laughter. Not just any laugh, his own laugh, the exact one Jim just imitated. And now, the entire room explodes. Because in that moment, something rare happened. An impression so perfect, the original couldn't help but agree with it. Ariana Grande's impressions that feel almost unreal. Now this one hits differently. Because when Ariana Grande does impressions, people don't just laugh. They get confused. There have been moments where Ariana casually starts imitating other celebrities during interviews, and within seconds, it's like she switches identities. Her voice changes completely. Her posture shifts. Even her facial expressions transform. And what makes it even crazier, she does it so effortlessly, like it's second nature. At one point, she performed a powerful impression of a legendary singer, hitting the same vocal tone, the same style, and the audience didn't react immediately. Why? Because they were trying to process. Wait, is that actually her voice? Now imagine being the person she's imitating, watching someone mirror you so perfectly. It almost feels like looking into a reflection. It's impressive, but also slightly unsettling, because Ariana doesn't just imitate, she captures people. And that's what makes her moments unforgettable. Kevin Hart turns The Rock into a comedy character. Let's change the energy now. Because Kevin Hart does more than merely mimic while making impressions. He roasts. What about his preferred target? Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock. Already their friendship seems like a farce. However, when Kevin begins to imitate The Rock in front of him, things get crazy at that point. Everything is exaggerated by Kevin. The deep voice, the strong eye contact, The Rock's slow dramatic speech. He expands his chest and moves. Kevin, pay close attention to what I say. And the viewers? Before he's even done, he's giggling. However, this is what makes it even better. That's where The Rock is sitting, making an effort to remain serious. Maintaining that tough image, however, you can see it. He's having trouble. His composure begins to crumble, and a smile begins to form. And in the end, he laughs and gives up. Since Kevin doesn't merely copy him, he transforms him into a larger-than-life figure, and in some way, it's extra funny because of that. Jimmy Fallon's risky live impressions. Imagine making impressions now. Live. Not a script, no caution. The famous person is seated directly beside you. Jimmy Fallon does just that. And really, it's dangerous, because before he begins, there is always that time, where silence falls in the room. The famous person glances at him, inquisitive, wary, perhaps even a little anxious. Jimmy then starts. And right away, the stress vanishes, because in some way, he does it flawlessly. His perceptions on public figures, singers and actors strike the ideal mix between humour and truth. And the responses? The finest part is that some celebs chuckle right away, others merely gaze at him, attempting to comprehend the recent events. However, regardless of what, those are genuine moments, unfiltered, as if anything could go wrong. However, it never does. Eddie Murphy's fearless impressions. Some comedians are reticent. However, Eddie Murphy? Never. Eddie's impressions. It has boldness to it, a self-assurance that says, I'm putting everything into it. He doesn't make it softer. He doesn't take precautions. He gives it his all. And that's why it's so potent. Because even if the individuals he is mimicking are employed in the same field, even if there's a chance they could see it, he continues to pursue it. And the viewers? They sense that energy, that danger, that sense of anything could happen. Additionally, it keeps them confined. Because of Eddie, there are no restrictions. When the impression gets awkward, let's now discuss unexpected moments, the ones that were. It doesn't make an impression, because not all famous people have a sense of humour. Not every moment is easy. Occasionally, it becomes silent, too quiet, the effect is over, and rather than giggling, all that is present is silence. The star gives a false smile, their body language changes, and all of a sudden, the entire atmosphere changes. It's palpable through the television. And those times, they are equally strong, due of their unexpected nature, actual, uncomfortable. And that strain, it keeps the audience interested, because they are now curious rather than only laughing. At the end of the day, celebrity impressions aren't just about being funny. They're about risk. Because every time someone does an impression in front of the actual person, there's a question hanging in the air. How are they going to react? And that one moment, that one reaction, is what makes it unforgettable. So next time you watch a celebrity laugh at an impression, look closely. Because for just a second, before the laughter kicks in, there's always that look, that moment of realization, where they're thinking, wait, do I really act like that? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next one might be even more awkward, even more accurate, and way harder to watch.